My child, stop for a moment and listen carefully to me. Do not rush past this message, because what I am about to speak into your spirit is not ordinary. This is not coincidence. This is not random. I brought you here because the time of silence is ending. The case concerning your pain, your tears, your betrayal, your delay, and every hidden attack against your life has already been decided in heaven. And hear me clearly, my beloved child, the verdict is in your favor. Case closed. They thought you would never discover what was happening behind your back. They believed the lies would stay hidden forever. They believed the doors they secretly closed against you would remain locked. They smiled in front of you while speaking against you in darkness. They acted innocent while quietly trying to weaken your spirit, confuse your mind, and exhaust your soul. But I saw everything. I heard every conversation you were never supposed to hear. I watched every hidden motive. I saw every silent betrayal. And now I am stepping into the situation myself. My child, I need you to understand something very important right now. The strange heaviness you have been feeling was not your imagination. The exhaustion, the confusion, the emotional battles, the nights where your mind refused to rest, the moments when you felt isolated even in rooms full of people, none of it happened without reason. There has been a battle surrounding your destiny. There have been forces trying to delay what I already promised you. But hear my voice today, louder than every fear and louder than every lie. What I have sealed for your life cannot be reversed by human hands. No enemy can cancel what I have already spoken over you. No betrayal can destroy the purpose I placed inside you before you were even born. I know you became tired, my child. I know there were moments you questioned whether I was still near. You prayed, and the silence around you became so heavy that you wondered if heaven had forgotten your name. You smiled in front of others while carrying storms inside your heart. You kept showing strength while secretly fighting battles nobody understood. Even now, there are wounds inside you that nobody sees. There are memories that still hurt when they return to your mind late at night. There are disappointments you never fully spoke about because you feared nobody would understand the depth of your pain. But I understand. I always understood. I was there when they walked away from you. I was there when you cried quietly so nobody would hear you breaking apart inside. I was there when opportunity suddenly disappeared and you could not explain why things kept falling apart at the last moment. I was there when you felt forgotten, overlooked, and emotionally drained. And even though you could not see my hand moving, I was protecting you from things your eyes were never meant to witness. Some doors closed because danger stood behind them. Some relationships ended because destruction was hiding inside them. Some delays happened because I was blocking attacks you never even knew existed. My beloved child, listen closely now, because this is the part the enemy never wanted you to hear. You survived because I protected you. There were moments when the enemy thought he finally broke your spirit. There were nights darkness whispered that you would never recover, never heal, never rise again. But every single morning I placed strength back inside your soul. Every breath you still carried is proof that my hand remains upon your life. The fact that you are still standing after everything you endured is already a miracle. And now heaven is announcing that the season is changing. Not next year. Not someday. Now. I am moving now. The chains that kept your life delayed are breaking now. The confusion that surrounded your thoughts is clearing now. The silence that covered hidden truth is ending now. I am exposing what needs to be exposed. I am removing what needs to be removed. I am shaking what cannot remain in your next season. The people who secretly worked against your peace will not control your future. The lies spoken over your life will not become your reality. The enemy may have started the battle, but I am the one who writes the ending. My child, there are things happening around you that your natural eyes still cannot fully see. While you were crying, I was arranging. While you were waiting, I was preparing. While you were feeling abandoned, I was positioning people, shifting situations, and opening pathways that only my power could create. You thought the story was ending, but heaven was only preparing the next chapter. You thought the silence meant rejection, but it was actually preparation for something bigger than your imagination can currently hold. Do not ignore this moment. Do not treat this message casually. I brought you here because your spirit needed confirmation. Deep inside yourself, you already sensed that something was changing. You felt it in quiet moments. You noticed the pressure increasing around you. You noticed old doors closing, strange distance appearing between you and certain people, unusual emotional battles rising without warning. My child, the pressure increased because breakthrough is near. The enemy always fights hardest before he loses his grip. But hear me carefully, he already lost. Case closed. The decision has already been made in heaven. What belongs to you will reach you. What I promised will happen. What I sealed cannot be stolen. The waiting season is ending because I myself am stepping into your circumstances. I am not sending temporary comfort. I am sending transformation. I am not giving you false hope. I am giving you divine assurance. The tears you cried in private are about to become testimonies spoken publicly. The pain that almost destroyed you is about to become proof of my faithfulness. Comment Amen. The word sustains me if Scripture keeps your faith alive. There are people who underestimated the power of my hand upon your life. They judged you by your weakness while failing to recognize my presence covering you. They assumed your silence meant defeat. They assumed your delays meant failure. But they never understood that I was preserving you for an appointed moment. And now that moment is arriving. My beloved child, stop doubting your worth. Stop believing the lie that you missed your opportunity. Stop allowing fear to speak louder than my promises. You are not forgotten. You are not disqualified. You are not abandoned. I called you before the foundations of the earth were formed. I placed purpose inside you intentionally. The attacks came because your destiny carries weight. The warfare increased because your future carries influence. Darkness does not fight empty vessels this intensely. The enemy targeted you because he feared what would happen if you finally recognized who walks beside you. And now I am awakening that understanding inside your spirit. Rise again, my child. Lift your head again. Trust me again. Because what I am beginning in your life right now will make every delayed season make sense. I am restoring your peace. I am rebuilding your confidence. I am healing the hidden parts of your soul that exhaustion tried to destroy. I am leading you out of confusion and into clarity. The chapter of endless sorrow is closing. The chapter of divine movement is beginning. Case closed. And no power on earth or in darkness can overturn the decision I have already made concerning you. My beloved child, I need you to listen carefully now because what I am about to reveal explains the heaviness you have carried for so long. You have spent many nights asking questions you never spoke out loud. You wondered why certain people suddenly chained toward you. You wondered why peace disappeared from places that once felt safe. You wondered why your spirit felt exhausted even when you tried your best to stay strong. Deep inside yourself, you sensed something was wrong, but you could not fully explain it. My child, your spirit was discerning battles your eyes could not yet see. There were people around you who smiled, while secretly hoping for your downfall. They celebrated in front of you while competing against you in secret. They listened to your dreams while quietly doubting your future. Some spoke words of encouragement publicly, but released negativity about you privately. Others watched your kindness and mistook it for weakness. They thought your silence meant you were blind to what was happening. But you were never truly alone in any of it, because I stood beside you through every hidden attack. I saw the conversations that happened after you left the room. I saw the messages sent behind your back. I saw the jealousy hidden inside people who pretended to support you. I saw those who smiled in your face while secretly becoming uncomfortable with the favor upon your life. My child, not everyone could celebrate the light I placed inside you. Some people were drawn to your peace while secretly resenting it. Others admired your strength while quietly hoping you would fail. And because you carried a pure heart, you kept trying to believe the best about everyone around you. But I saw what you could not see. I saw how the enemy tried to use confusion to weaken your confidence. I saw how he tried to surround you with discouragement so you would question your own value. He wanted you to believe you were the problem. He wanted you to think your dreams were unrealistic. He wanted you to become so emotionally exhausted that you would stop expecting anything good from life. That is why the attacks became so personal. That is why the battles touched your emotions, your thoughts, your peace, your sleep, and your relationships. The enemy knew if he could fill your heart with disappointment, you would slowly stop believing the promises I placed inside your spirit long ago. But hear me clearly today, my child. I never stopped fighting for you. Even during the moments when you thought heaven had become silent, I was standing between you and things that would have destroyed you completely. There were attacks you never saw because I blocked them before they reached you. There were traps prepared for your downfall that never succeeded because my hand covered your life. You cried over closed doors without realizing those doors were protecting you from hidden destruction. You mourned certain endings without knowing I was rescuing you from future heartbreak. My child, you must stop blaming yourself for everything that went wrong. Some of the pain you experienced came from carrying burdens that were never yours to carry. You kept trying to fix situations I was asking you to release. You kept trying to save relationships that were slowly draining your spirit. You kept begging for understanding from people who had already decided to misunderstand you. And while you exhausted yourself trying to hold everything together, I kept whispering softly into your spirit, asking you to trust me enough to let go. I know how deeply rejection wounded your heart. I know you tried not to let it affect you, but there were moments when the loneliness became overwhelming. There were times you questioned whether you truly mattered to anyone. You gave love freely and still ended up feeling emotionally abandoned. You stood beside others during their darkest moments, yet when your own battles arrived, many people disappeared. The pain stayed inside you longer than anyone realized. But my beloved child, I was there in every moment. I sat beside you during the nights when tears silently rolled down your face. I stayed near when your thoughts became heavy and your spirit felt tired. I watched you continue fighting even after disappointment weakened your strength. I saw the courage it took for you to wake up each morning while carrying invisible emotional wounds. Others only saw your smile, but I saw the battle happening underneath it. Others assumed you were strong because you stayed quiet, but I saw how badly your heart needed comfort. And now I need you to understand this truth deeply. Your survival was not accidental. The reason you are still standing after everything you faced is because my hand never left your life. The enemy tried to isolate you emotionally because he feared what would happen if you finally realized how protected you truly are. He wanted you to focus only on betrayal so you would forget my faithfulness. He wanted you to stare at closed doors until you lost sight of the doors I was preparing ahead of you. But I am opening your eyes now. Please support our channel. Our work is to bring happiness in your life and devotion to God. And if you want, you can donate to us, given link in description or pinned comment to show your support. The confusion is breaking. The heaviness is lifting. The lies are losing power over your mind. You are beginning to see situations differently because I am restoring your discernment. Some people were assignments sent to distract you, delay you, and emotionally drain you before your breakthrough season arrived. That is why certain connections subtly became uncomfortable. That is why your spirit no longer feels peaceful around certain individuals. My child, it is not because you became hateful. It is because I am separating you from environments that cannot enter the next season I prepared for your life. Do not fear the separation. Do not mourn every distance. Some exits are divine protection. I know you kept asking why certain people suddenly changed. But my child, some people were comfortable with you only when you were struggling. They supported you while they believed you would remain beneath them. But the moment heaven began preparing elevation for your life, hidden jealousy started revealing itself. Your growth exposed insecurities inside people who secretly compared themselves to you. Instead of celebrating your healing, your wisdom, your strength, or your progress, they became uncomfortable watching you rise. But do not let bitterness enter your heart because of this. I am not revealing these things to make you hateful. I am revealing them so you stop doubting yourself. I need you to stop shrinking your spirit just to keep others comfortable. I need you to stop apologizing for the favor upon your life. I created you with purpose, and no hidden plot can cancel what I already ordained. My beloved child, there were moments when you almost gave up completely. You became tired of fighting battles nobody understood. You became tired of carrying emotional pain silently. You became tired of hoping for change while circumstances remained difficult. There were moments you questioned whether life would ever become peaceful again. But every time you reached your breaking point, I carried you through another day. That was me strengthening you. That was me protecting your mind. That was me refusing to let darkness consume your future. You thought you were barely surviving, but heaven saw a warrior learning endurance through fire. Every battle strengthened discernment inside you. Every betrayal taught you wisdom. Every delay deepened your dependence upon me. And even though you still carry questions, I need you to trust this one truth today. None of your suffering was wasted. I am using every painful chapter for a greater purpose. The people who tried to weaken your spirit will not define your future. The rejection you experienced will not become your identity. The attacks against your peace will not destroy your destiny. I am healing what betrayal damaged. I am restoring what exhaustion drained. I am rebuilding confidence where disappointment created insecurity. And I am leading you into a season where hidden attacks will no longer control your emotions. My child, heaven has not ignored your pain. Heaven hath been watching everything. And now I am stepping into your situation with power, truth, healing, and divine justice. The silence is ending. The confusion is breaking. And the hidden things that wounded your heart will no longer remain covered forever, because I am exposing, healing, separating, protecting, and restoring all at once. Trust me now more than ever before, because the chapter ahead of you will not look like the chapter behind you. My beloved child, I know there were many moments when you believed I had become silent. You prayed with tears in your eyes and waited for immediate answers, yet the heavens seemed quiet. You looked around at others moving forward while your own life felt delayed, paused, and surrounded by uncertainty. You wondered why doors kept closing. You wondered why progress seemed slow no matter how hard you tried. There were even moments when you secretly questioned whether I had forgotten the promises I placed inside your heart. But my child, I need you to understand something now that you could not fully understand before. The delay was never punishment. The waiting season was preparation. You were asking me to elevate your life while still carrying wounds that needed healing. You were asking for open doors while still emotionally attached to places I was trying to lead you away from. You wanted immediate breakthrough, but your spirit still needed strengthening, because where I am taking you requires greater wisdom, deeper discernment, and stronger faith than you had before. If I had answered every prayer instantly, you would have entered blessings without the spiritual maturity necessary to protect them. So I slowed certain things down, not to harm you, not to reject you, but to prepare you. My child, there are things I allowed you to lose because they could not survive in the future I planned for you. There were relationships you begged me to save that were slowly destroying your peace. There were opportunities you cried over that would have led you far away from your true purpose. There were environments you desperately wanted to remain in, but those places were suffocating your spirit little by little. You thought you were losing everything, but I was actually removing everything that could not grow with you into your next season. I know it hurt. I know you felt confused watching things fall apart. I know there were nights you sat in silence trying to understand why life suddenly changed so dramatically. But my beloved child, not every loss was an attack. Some losses were rescue missions from heaven. You could not see what I saw. You only saw the closed door, but I saw the danger hiding behind it. You only saw the disappointment, but I saw the destruction it would have eventually caused. You only saw temporary pain, but I saw the future I was protecting. There are blessings you still cry over losing that would have eventually become burdens too heavy for your spirit to carry. I know you do not fully understand every separation yet, but one day you will look back and realize my protection was hidden inside those painful endings. The enemy wanted you to interpret delay as abandonment. He whispered into your mind during your weakest moments, telling you that nothing would ever change. He wanted hopelessness to slowly grow inside your heart until you stopped expecting goodness altogether. That is why the waiting season became emotionally exhausting. He attacked your patience because he feared what would happen if you stayed faithful long enough to see the breakthrough approaching. But even while you struggled emotionally, I was working spiritually. Every delay carried purpose. Every closed door carried direction. Every painful ending carried hidden protection. While you were crying, I was refining you. While you were waiting, I was strengthening your inner life. While you felt isolated, I was teaching you how to depend on my voice more deeply than before. The waiting season forced you to pray differently. It forced you to search for me differently. It forced you to stop placing your identity inside temporary things. You became stronger in places nobody else could see because hidden growth was happening inside your soul. My child, Gold is not refined without fire. Diamonds are not formed without pressure. Strong roots are not developed in comfort. The battles you faced were shaping endurance inside you. Before this season, you depended heavily upon external reassurance. You searched for validation from people who themselves were spiritually unstable. You measured your worth through acceptance, attention, and visible success. But the wilderness season changed something inside you. It forced you to discover strength that did not depend upon applause from others. You learned how to survive lonely seasons. You learned how to keep moving while carrying emotional pain. You learned how to pray even when your faith felt weak. You learned how to stand back up after disappointment knocked you down repeatedly. And although those lessons came through tears, they created spiritual maturity inside you. My beloved child, you are not the same person you were before the struggle began. The pain changed your discernment. You no longer trust everything so quickly. You no longer ignore warning signs inside your spirit. You became more careful with your energy, your trust, your peace, and your time. The transformation was necessary because the next season of your life requires wisdom that can only be developed through experience. I know you became frustrated watching others move ahead while you remained in preparation. You wondered why people who hurt others seemed successful while your own journey felt difficult. But never confuse visible success with true peace. Many people appear strong publicly while privately carrying emptiness, fear, confusion, and spiritual exhaustion. I was not only preparing blessings for you, I was preparing stability within you so that what I give you will not destroy your peace later. There are some blessings that arrive too early and become dangerous. There are some opportunities that look beautiful outwardly, but quietly destroy a person inwardly. I refuse to let that happen to you. So while others rushed ahead carelessly, I kept building your foundation slowly and carefully. I taught you patience because where I am taking you cannot be sustained by emotional instability. I taught you endurance because temporary emotions cannot lead eternal purpose. I taught you discernment because not everyone who enters your life deserves access to your heart. Type Amen. Worship lifts me higher if praise carries you closer to Him. My child, I know there were moments you always quit entirely. You became tired of waiting for movement, tired of hoping for answers, tired of carrying uncertainty, tired of praying prayers that seemed unanswered. There were days when disappointment wrapped itself around your thoughts like darkness, making you wonder if life would ever improve. But even in those moments, I never stopped working behind the scenes. While you slept, I arranged things. While you cried, I shifted things. While you questioned me, I still protected your future. You could not see the spiritual battles happening over your destiny. You could not see how many attacks I blocked before they reached your life. There were people who intended harm toward you, but I removed their power. There were plans formed against your peace, but I interrupted them before they could fully unfold. The enemy kept trying to weaken your confidence because he knew breakthrough was slowly approaching. That is why the pressure increased. The enemy becomes desperate when he realizes his time is short. But hear me clearly now, my beloved child. The season of endless waiting is ending. The preparation season accomplished what it needed to accomplish inside you. You are stronger now, wiser now, more spiritually aware now. The pain taught you lessons comfort never could. And because you survived the refining process without completely turning away from me, heaven is preparing movement in areas where you once experienced delay. Do not despise the process anymore. Do not hate the waiting season anymore. The wilderness protected you while preparing you. You were not buried in that season. You were planted. And now roots developed in secret are about to produce visible fruit. The tears were not wasted. The loneliness was not wasted. The confusion was not wasted. Every painful chapter became preparation for the authority, wisdom, healing, and spiritual strength I am building inside you now. So trust me when I say this, my child. If I delayed something, there was purpose behind it. If I removed something, there was protection behind it. If I allowed certain struggles, there was transformation hidden inside them. I have never abandoned you for even one moment. I was carrying you through a process your current understanding could not fully comprehend. And now you are standing at the edge of a new chapter. A chapter where clarity replaces confusion. A chapter where peace replaces exhaustion. A chapter where breakthrough begins replacing endless delay. Because the preparation season is almost complete, and what I am about to do in your life will reveal why I refuse to let you quit during the process. My beloved child, there is something I must reveal to you now because for too long you have blamed yourself for battles that were deeply spiritual. You kept trying to understand everything through human thinking while unseen warfare surrounded your life from every direction. The heaviness upon your mind, the confusion that suddenly appeared without warning, the exhaustion that settled into your spirit even when nothing outwardly seemed wrong, the strange cycles of fear and discouragement that kept returning again and again, my child. These attacks were never random. The enemy has been fighting intensely against your peace because he recognizes the calling upon your life even when you struggle to see it yourself. There were moments when you woke up already feeling emotionally tired before the day even began. Your mind carried pressure you could not explain. Small situations suddenly felt overwhelming. Anxiety tried to enter your thoughts quietly and grow stronger each day. You started questioning your worth, your future, your purpose, and even your ability to continue moving forward. The enemy wanted you trapped inside mental exhaustion because a tired spirit becomes easier to discourage. He knew that if he could weaken your thoughts long enough, eventually you would stop expecting me to move at all. That is why the attacks focused so heavily upon your mind. The battlefield was never only around your circumstances. The battlefield was inside your thoughts. The enemy kept whispering lies repeatedly, hoping repetition would eventually sound like truth. He reminded you constantly of past mistakes. He magnified disappointments until they felt permanent. He tried to convince you that your waiting season meant failure. He filled your heart with fear about the future and regret about the past, hoping you would become so emotionally overwhelmed that you could no longer recognize my voice clearly. But my child, hear me now with absolute certainty. Not every thought inside your mind belongs to you. Some thoughts were planted through spiritual attack. Some fears were intensified by darkness trying to weaken your faith. Some confusion was sent to distract you from what heaven was preparing behind the scenes. The enemy studied your emotional wounds carefully. He noticed the places where rejection hurt you deeply. He recognized the insecurities you carried silently. He watched the moments when loneliness weakened your confidence. And then he targeted those exact places repeatedly because he wanted to create agreement between your pain and his lies. He hoped your wounds would become open doors for hopelessness, fear, bitterness, and emotional paralysis. That is why you sometimes felt trapped between faith and exhaustion at the same time. Part of you still believed I was with you, But another part of you became tired of fighting invisible battles nobody else understood. My beloved child, I know how heavy it became. I know there were nights when your own thoughts exhausted you. You kept replaying painful memories in your mind, trying to understand why things happened the way they did. You searched for answers while carrying emotional wounds that never fully healed. Some days you smiled publicly while privately fighting battles so intense that even getting through the day required strength nobody else recognized. But while the enemy attacked your thoughts, I was still protecting your destiny. You may not realize how many spiritual battles I already fought on your behalf. There were attacks assigned to destroy your future that never fully reached you because my hand blocked them. There were moments when darkness tried to completely overwhelm your emotions, but I preserved your spirit from collapsing entirely. The fact that you are still standing after everything you endured is proof that my power remained active around your life even during your weakest seasons. The enemy tried to isolate you because isolation weakens discernment. He wanted you disconnected from peace, disconnected from hope, disconnected from other people, and eventually disconnected from me. He whispered lies telling you nobody cared, nobody understood, and nothing would ever improve. He wanted loneliness to become so normal that you stop expecting support altogether. But those lies are breaking now. I am exposing the spiritual warfare because I need you to stop agreeing with darkness against yourself. You spoke against your own future during painful moments because exhaustion clouded your vision. You called yourself weak while heaven still called you chosen. You called yourself forgotten while I was actively protecting your life every day. You called yourself broken while I was slowly rebuilding your spirit from the inside out. My child, the enemy feared your healing. He feared your awakening. He feared the moment you would finally realize how much authority my presence carries over your life. That is why the attacks intensified whenever breakthrough approached. Have you noticed how pressure often increased right before important moments? Have you noticed how fear suddenly grew stronger whenever you started moving toward healing, peace, or spiritual growth? The enemy fights hardest when he senses his control weakening. He becomes louder when breakthrough draws near. But hear me carefully now. His noise does not mean his victory. The enemy may attack, but he cannot overturn my decision concerning your life. Case closed. Your future still belongs to me. The calling upon your life still stands. The promises I spoke over you still remain alive even after every battle you endured. My beloved child, there are people who unknowingly became instruments of discouragement around you. Some carried negativity so heavily that every conversation left your spirit drained. Others projected their fears onto your future because they themselves lacked faith. Some people criticized your dreams simply because they could not understand what I placed inside you. And because your heart is sensitive, you absorb many words more deeply than others realized. But I am teaching you now that not every voice deserves access to your spirit. Not everyone speaking into your life carries wisdom. Not everyone around you understands your assignment. You kept seeking validation from people who themselves were emotionally lost. You kept hoping certain individuals would finally support, understand, or encourage you, but many of them were battling darkness within themselves. Their inability to recognize your value never changed the value I already placed upon you. So stop measuring your worth through wounded people. Stop allowing temporary rejection to define eternal purpose. Stop agreeing with voices that contradict what I already spoke over your life. My child, you must understand something powerful now. The enemy attacked you because your destiny carries influence. Darkness does not waste energy fighting empty vessels. The pressure surrounding your life became intense because your breakthrough threatens chains not only over your own life, but over others connected to your future. The healing I am bringing into your life will eventually become healing for others. The wisdom you gain through suffering will eventually guide people who feel lost. The battles you survived will one day become testimony that strengthens broken hearts around you. That is why the enemy wanted you silent. That is why he fought your confidence so aggressively. That is why he attacked your peace repeatedly. But he failed. You are still here. You are still breathing. You are still listening to my voice right now. And that alone proves the battle did not destroy you. Say amen. Your peace surrounds me if calm floods your heart today. And share this video.